All right, let's get right into it. We are breaking down the absolute biggest moments from Sam Altman's live interview at TED. And trust me, this wasn't just another talk. This was a real glimpse into a future that's showing up way, way faster than any of us really expected.
Right out of the gate, the head of TED himself, Chris Anderson, kind of set the stage for everything. And he wasn't just impressed, he used the word astounded. See, he'd been getting a sneak peek at OpenAI's newest models, and the things they could do were just, well, they were leaps and bounds beyond what anyone thought was possible right now.
So, what was it that astounded him? Well, get a load of this. The AI was given this super deep philosophical prompt, right? To visualize the difference between intelligence and consciousness. And this is what it came up with. I mean, it didn't just spit out some generic image. It actually synthesized this complex, abstract idea into a visual that's simple, but also incredibly profound. It shows a level of conceptual understanding that is, frankly, a little mind-bending.
And that leads us right into our first big theme here, the insane explosion of AI's creative power. We're talking about moving way beyond just simple tools to something else entirely.
So then, Chris Anderson asks the model to imagine Charlie Brown as an AI. And the result was this kind of thoughtful, almost sad image that Altman himself called an incredible meta answer. It just perfectly blends that classic Peanut style with these deep existential AI questions. But this led Altman to ask the fundamental question, is the model really thinking, or is it just an incredibly sophisticated pattern matcher? And honestly, if we can't tell the difference anymore, does it even matter? And this is where all that awe and wonder crashes right into a very real, very immediate problem. If these models can crank out art and music and writing that's this good, it forces a question that hits right at the heart of our economy, our culture. Who owns this stuff? Who gets the credit? And more importantly, who gets paid? Which brings us to the massive fight that is raging in the creative world right now, the copyright question. I mean, this is a full-blown battle over intellectual property, about compensation, and really about the entire future of creative work. So the debate is pretty much split down the middle. On one side, you have creators who see AI as the most powerful tool they have ever had, something that can amplify their own vision. But on the other side, you've got a whole lot of artists who see this as an existential threat, a system that was trained on their life's work without their permission, potentially stealing their future right out from under them. So, where does Sam Altman land on all this? Well, he argues that humans are always going to be at the center of creativity. He totally admits that new economic models are absolutely necessary, but he also makes the point that, human artists have always been inspired by and built on the work of people who came before them. He did make it clear that OpenAI's current models actually block you from asking for images in the style of a living artist. And he seems pretty open to figuring out new ways for artists to opt in and actually get paid. Okay, so this whole conversation about creativity is really the groundwork for what's coming next. We're going to shift gears now from the present to the near future and talk about the next frontier, autonomous agents and the path toward what we call artificial general intelligence, or AGI. That's AI that can reason and learn like a human. First off, what even is agentic AI? Well, the most important thing to get here is this. It's about giving AI the power to act, not just to answer questions. We're talking about systems where you can give it a complicated goal, and it can then go out into the digital world, browsing websites, using apps, maybe even making phone calls to get that goal done all on its own. Here's a really simple, concrete example from the interview. You just say something like, hey, book me a table for two at a nice Italian place. The agent just takes over. It does the research. It finds a spot. It presents you with an option. And as soon as you say yes, bam, it executes the task. It's like your personal digital assistant, but one that can actually do things in the real world. And this brings us to the whole idea of AGI. Altman's point is that we're way too focused on this single gotcha moment when AGI arrives. He says we need to realize we're on this continuous, unbelievable, exponential curve of capability. So the question isn't when we hit some specific definition of AGI. The real question is how we prepare for a technology that's just going to keep getting smarter and eventually go way beyond human intelligence. And with that kind of exponential power comes a truly monumental challenge, a question that's hanging over this entire revolution. How in the world do you keep it safe? Altman points to a few major risks. The first one, and it's a scary one, is bioterror, the fear that a really powerful AI could be used by bad actors to help them design and even create new biological weapons. The second huge risk is cybersecurity. Think about it. An AI that can write code and browse the internet could also find and exploit weaknesses in our digital world on a scale we have just never seen before. And then there's the big one, the most existential risk, loss of control. This is the nightmare scenario, right? A model that gets so smart it can start improving itself, iterating and evolving at a speed that leaves us, the humans, completely in the dust. And look, Altman himself puts it very bluntly. When he's talking about agentic AI, these systems that can act in the world, he calls it the most consequential safety challenge yet. Because when an AI makes a mistake, the stakes get so much higher when it has access to your computer, your bank account, your entire digital life. So all of this high-tech, high-stakes discussion, it all comes down to a very human level. It puts the focus squarely on the person who's at the center of this entire storm, Sam Altman himself. Now, this is wild. During the interview, Chris Anderson revealed that he asked OpenAI's own top-tier model to come up with the single toughest question for its own creator. And this is what it came up with. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The AI is asking about the moral authority of the human who built it. It's an unbelievably profound question about power, responsibility, and, well, the fate of all of us. And that question gets right to the heart of the two very different narratives people have about Sam Altman. Is he the visionary who, with a small team, completely outmaneuvered giants like Google to change the world? Or is he the guy who shifted from this open, nonprofit mission to a closed, for-profit model which makes you question his motives? So how does he answer this? Well, he basically says he's a nuanced person, not a caricature. He admits that, yeah, their tactics have changed as they've learned just how massive and expensive it is to build these systems. But he insists the core mission has never, ever changed, to safely build and distribute AGI for the benefit of all humanity. And when he was asked about the world his newborn son is going to grow up in, Altman painted this incredibly optimistic picture. A world where computers just sort of understand you, where we have incredible material abundance, and where any one person's ability to make an impact is far beyond anything we can imagine today. And that, right there, just perfectly captures the tension of our time. Altman's vision is this future of unbelievable abundance and empowerment. The fear is a future of unintended consequences, a world we can no longer control. The tech is already here. That exponential curve is getting steeper by the day. And the path we choose between those two futures, well, it's being paved right now as we speak.